Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching this video, I'm pregnant. As of today, I am 9 weeks and 3 days, and this video that I'm making for you is all about weeks 4 through 8, my symptoms, what I went through, some of my symptoms before I was pregnant, and just this whole little journey I've been through so far. I've had a lot of people request that I make these videos to kind of document my pregnancy journey and, share my symptoms and share tips and tricks I learn along the way. And I also thought it would be really nice to kind of have this on camera and, almost like a little pregnancy journal to look back on, later down the road. So because I'm 9 weeks and 3 days, normally I would just start with my 9th week and what's been going on. But for me, weeks 4 through 8 were a whirlwind, and a lot happened, and I ended up in the hospital one night, and I just kind of wanted to share what went on from weeks 4 through 8 first before I jump into my 9th week video. And then from there, my goal is to do weekly videos for each week of my pregnancy and let you know what's going on, how I'm coping with things, and hopefully share some advice with you. So I did write down all of the things that were happening from weeks 4 through 8 so I didn't forget. So let me start from the beginning. I found out I was pregnant on July 20th, and I probably wasn't even 4 weeks yet. I think I was like 3 weeks, 6 days. I found out basically the first day you could find out, I found out. And the way I knew was I was having a lot of symptoms leading up to it. If you want me to do a video on all of my symptoms leading up to when I found out I was pregnant, like the pre-pregnancy symptoms, let me know in the comments below and I'll make that video for you. I have them like all listed, and they were all really weird, like teeth sensitivity and stuff like that. But I found out I was pregnant right before 4 weeks. And I am really in tune with my body, and I just kind of woke up one day and I was like, I'm pregnant. I just knew it. So I took the test at like 6 in the morning, and sure enough, it was positive. So I called my midwife that morning and let her know what was going on, and she told me to come in that day. I will say I'm really lucky. My midwife is like very, very thorough. She likes to see you like almost every week in the first trimester, just to make sure your progesterone doesn't drop and make sure your numbers are going correctly. She just likes to really monitor you. So I had my first blood draw on the day I found out, on July 20th, and my HCG level was at a 55 and my progesterone was at 11.5. And she told me those numbers mean, I'm very newly pregnant, and, I'm on my way. So I had my next appointment on the 26th, so like 6 days later. And my HCG went up to 1,333, and my progesterone was a 9.8. So normally your numbers are your HCG is supposed to double every 48 hours. Mine was doubling every 31 hours, which it's a good thing, but I'll get to that in a minute. So then I had my next appointment on July 31st. So that was like 5 or 6 days later again. And my HCG went from 1,333 to 12,334, and my progesterone went up to a 32.4. And when my doctor or my midwife told me, or when she called me, she told me that meant I might be carrying multiples. And I had like a mini panic attack, and I freaked out because, it's already shocking enough to find out you're pregnant, but then when they say it might be twins, that's like another shock. You know what I mean? Like, I was on edge about it. Not that there's anything wrong with twins. My sister had twins. I know tons of people with twins, but it was just kind of a moment of panic for me. I'd be happy either way, but it startled me, to be sure. So I had, she wanted to double check and kind of date my pregnancy. And so at 5 weeks and 2 days, I had my first sonogram, and they saw the gestational sac. And then right around 5 weeks, 3 days, I started getting really nauseous in the afternoon and then in the middle of the night. And I even asked my husband, I was like, are you feeling nauseous? Because we usually eat like the same type of things and same dinner and, same everything. And he was feeling fine. So I knew that was probably, one of my pregnancy symptoms. And I was getting nervous because one of my best friends was like 6 weeks, morning sickness hits. And I was really hoping to kind of avoid morning sickness. I was hoping to be like one of those Beyonce like pregnancy women that just, glow and feel great the whole time. But that was not the case for me. I hope it's the case for you, because at 6 weeks, one day, I could not stop throwing up. I have been throwing up for almost a month now. So definitely the morning sickness has kicked in for me. So I have a really embarrassing story. So when I was 6 weeks one day, I was on set for a movie. I booked like a really small part. It wasn't like a big deal. But we were filming in Brooklyn on a really hot day, and I had been nauseous, the whole week leading up to it. So I had been prepared. I brought my ginger candy. I brought all this stuff, and I was like, I'll be okay. Like I can, survive nausea. It'll be fine. So I'm on set, and I got kind of hot, and then someone was in the bathroom, and then I got this like overwhelming wave of nausea, and I immediately just projectile vomited in front of the entire cast and crew. Like everybody saw me throw up. And it was like The Exorcist. Like I couldn't stop throwing up, and I'm like a loud vomiter. It was so embarrassing. So then all these people are trying to help me, and then I had to tell all these people that I was pregnant because I didn't want them to think I was like hungover or something. And it was so embarrassing because like I had just found out. I was so early. Like it wasn't something I wanted to share with people yet. And now here I am telling the whole cast and crew I'm pregnant, and that's why I'm throwing up into like a garbage can at this point. And so I tried to tough it out. They got me some Gatorade, and I don't know what it was, but this day I just couldn't stop throwing up. Like I went outside and threw up in the street. I, sat in the car and I threw up outside the car. Like I could not stop throwing up, and I couldn't keep any food or liquids down. And so after about 12 to 13 hours of nonstop vomiting, my husband took me to the ER. So I needed to get some fluids. Like you can't get dehydrated while you're pregnant. So they hooked me up to an IV, and they gave me a full bag of, like liquids and electrolytes and whatever I needed. And then they offered to give me Zofran, which is something you can take while you're pregnant to stop nausea and vomiting. And I had kind of read about Zofran before. Like I remember seeing like lawsuits about it and stuff. But I was like so desperate to stop throwing up, and they assured me that like one time wouldn't hurt anything. So I let them put some Zofran in my IV, and luckily I stopped throwing up. So, I mean, it did its job, and that's all that matters because I could not keep anything down. So that was a really traumatic night. And then basically my whole 6th week and my whole 7th week, like I could not get out of bed. I was so sick. Like, that feeling when you're just so nauseous that you can't even open your eyes? Like that's how I felt, but all day, all night, there was no relief. And I started developing all of these crazy food aversions. Like there's these quinoa black bean burgers that I used to eat every day that I got from Trader Joe's, and I have to hide them in the bottom of the freezer where I can't see them, because if I even think about them, I immediately want to vomit. I've never, ever experienced any type of food aversions like this. And it's not even the same thing every day. That's been one thing that's been every day, but there are like every day it's something new. Like one day it was avocados, one day it was like Italian food, one day it was something else. Like every day I have to eat what sounds good at the right moment. And if I let myself get hungry, I get even more nauseous. So it's like this delicate balance. I feel like I'm a toddler who can't take care of myself. I don't know what I want to eat. I don't know what I can choose that's not going to make me throw up. And then I go to the grocery store and I'm basically eating like a toddler. I can eat mac and cheese. I can eat pasta. I can eat like bagels. And the weirdest thing is that I've never really eaten Taco Bell in my entire life. I'm not a fast food person. I generally eat pretty healthy and pretty clean. But I saw a Taco Bell commercial on the TV, and I told my husband that I needed Taco Bell. I've never, ever asked for Taco Bell. I can't even tell you the last time I had Taco Bell. And the only thing that always settles my stomach is Taco Bell. I get a cheesy gordita crunch with no meat, and I add beans. And for some reason, that's like the magic potion to make me not throw up. And I think I've had Taco Bell like 2 or 3 times now, which is a lot for me because I used to never, ever eat like that. And it was actually really funny. I was telling my husband, I was like, I feel like all I can eat is junk food. And so he said, it's definitely his child. So it's been rough. It basically feels like I've been hungover for 3 weeks without actually having had like any fun. So, I mean, basically I'm eating hangover food so I don't throw up. And I feel so bad because I'm I went into this pregnancy, eating super healthy at the beginning, and I really wanted to keep doing that, but it's been a struggle. My 8th week, the nausea was still there. It wasn't as strong as the 6th and 7th week, but I also found a lot of different ways to cope. For example, I keep this bag of Cheerios literally next to where I sleep. And every morning I lay there with my eyes closed and I just, eat as many Cheerios as I can so that I don't throw up before I get out of bed. So that's one coping mechanism. Another thing that's been really helpful are these Gin candies. They're, it's basically just cane sugar and ginger, and they're like chew. So you can like suck on them or chew them, and it's like pure ginger, and it helps a little bit. It's not going to change your life, but it helped me. And then the other thing that everyone talks about are these Preggy Pop Drops. So I'd gotten the regular ones, but then I found these plus ones that have vitamin B6, which is supposed to help with nausea. And honestly, these were more helpful than the regular ones. The regular ones have all these different flavors, but the only 2 flavors that I like are the lemon and the raspberry, and these plus ones are only lemon and raspberry. So these have been really helpful. And surprisingly, one of the biggest things that really helped me was this band called No Mo Nausea. It's one of these little, it's almost like one of those seasickness bands, and you put it on a pressure point, and it tells you exactly where it is. It's right about here. And you wear it, and it really helps with nausea. And this one's peppermint scented, so anytime you get nauseous, you just kind of smell it. The only complaint is that it's like a weird skin color, and I felt like everyone was looking at it like, what are you wearing on your wrist? And I actually wore this to like a family party, and I could tell people were staring at it. And I think that kind of outed me because I think people suspected I was pregnant, because why else would I be wearing a seasickness band to a party? It just made no sense. But you have to do what you have to do in order to leave the house. So ever since I got pregnant, I've been trying to do things like switching products to a little bit more natural things. And so I didn't want to go too crazy, but the main things I switched out were my deodorant. I know deodorant can be really harmful and, has aluminum in it and a lot of chemicals. So I switched out my deodorant to the Tom's organic deodorant. And the weird thing is that I've tried to use the Tom's organic deodorant so many times, and I always find it doesn't work. But I don't know if it's like the pregnancy hormones or whatever's going on, but it works for me when I'm pregnant. I can't even explain it. Like, I've been outside, I've been sweating, and I don't smell at all. And it's like a miracle. It just works well with my pregnancy body. The other thing I switched out was my moisturizer. I wanted something paraben-free and phthalate-free, because those are 2 things that I read can like disrupt production. And, like the first trimester is when the baby is, getting all of its internal organs and body parts, and it's like growing, and, that's like the most important time to really take care of yourself. So I got this Shea Moisture fragrance-free sensitive skin body lotion. It's unscented. It is the most hydrating lotion I've ever used in my entire life. It's like almost gone at this point. My only complaint is that it's like so thick that it's sometimes hard to get out of the pump, but like sometimes I'll just take it off and, get it out that way. But I am obsessed with this. It's so hydrating because lately I've been having dry skin, and this has been a lifesaver. I also wanted to switch out my hair care products, which is another easy switch for me. So I got this brand called Deep Steep. I got the shampoo and conditioner, and this is the daily repairing shampoo and the daily repairing conditioner. It's sulfate-free, phthalate-free, and all natural, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, no chemicals, preservatives, parabens, petrochemicals, dyes, SLS, it's just it's basically as natural as you can get for shampoo. But I'll link all of the stuff below if you're interested. And the prenatal vitamins I'm taking are the New Chapter Perfect Prenatal Vitamins. I get mine right now because these can be really expensive. They're made from whole foods. And what I love about these is that they have probiotics in them. So I don't have to take a probiotic separately. And these are made from whole foods. So there's nothing synthetic. They don't upset your stomach as much. You do have to take 3 of them a day. It's not like one pill and that's it. So That's why I always get the big bottle, because it runs out so quickly. But these can get really expensive, so I get them on Thrive Market for a huge discount. Thrive Market gives you like wholesale prices. I'll leave a link down below for Thrive Market. But these are really great vitamins. I have been having a lot of trouble taking them because I've been so nauseous that the idea of taking a vitamin immediately makes me want to throw up. But, you know, I'm trying to get them in each day because I know how important vitamins are. I'm also taking the Nordic Naturals Prenatal DHA. They're up in the cabinet upstairs and I don't feel like getting them, but I'll link those below for you as well. And the other thing that has been a huge, huge lifesaver with this whole nausea situation is sparkling water. This is the Polar brand. I used to drink a lot of LaCroix, but I found that I like the Polar brand better. It has like a lot more bubbles or something. But this is the grapefruit flavor, but I also drink the lemon and lime. It's like an easy way for me to get water because right now even water tastes bad to me. I'm telling you, it's a struggle. That's what's been going on weeks 4 through 8. I think my poor stomach just can't take it anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so excited to start making these videos for you, and I'll see you next time for my 9-week video. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you can catch the next video I make.